You can come on out of there, Nightcreeper. Aw, dang.
Robo don't know.
Okay, people, welcome back to another good old-fashioned G.I. Joe Classified Series Play Day, thanks to BigBadToyStore. Just catching up with some figures that I regretted on passing up. This still doesn't complete the collection, but it gets me closer to all the figures that I wanted, like Jinx. What else we have in here? There is Hawk and Doc. I did not do that on purpose. I didn't plan on rhyming it. There is Ripper. Hawk down. There is the retro carded Snow Serpent, which you knew was going to be a thing. I've already reviewed the deluxe Snow Serpent, but these are near and dear to my heart. These were one of the few figures that I had as a kid, and this is even closer to my memory of it since it's more vintage feeling, so had to get one. Same story for Nightcreeper. I wasn't into G.I. Joe, didn't have a lot of them, but these two were always there, fighting over land, sea, and air. And I didn't realize I grabbed the different eras of packaging. There is the plastic-free that we saw for a little bit. There's the new return of the window packaging with kind of that carbon fiber look on it. Then the retro card with a figure on it that has vintage styling to it. That is just a huge nostalgia tug to it. That's like, hey, remember the good old days? Remember back in the day? Much more gonna say. But since I've already reviewed this figure, this is the first one I'm going to open. Because nostalgia also involves getting a brand new figure and then ripping it from its plastic prison so you can play with the actual toy on the inside. There is a whitish gray stand with a Cobra logo sculpted into it because we're dealing with the Snow Serpent. Same snowshoes I think we got with the deluxe version. Backpack in snow camouflage, which is essentially just bright white. But the canteen standout, he's got himself a machine gun. The tripod, or well, I guess the bipod, is that what it's called? Does swing back and forth wherever you want to put it. And does this? Oh, it does for some reloading action. Dual wield some pistols. And then the extra goggles for extra snow glare or something. Because the figure already has goggles on it, but you know what? That's okay. It's G.I. Joe. Well, it's Cobra. There's gonna be some sweet, sweet silliness involved. But man, this color scheme brings back some memories. I absolutely love the blue on top of white, even though it doesn't really make sense if you're running around in the snow. First thing we gotta do is compare it to the deluxe version, which came with this wolf pelt. There is the goggles, same set, just painted darker. This has the pistols, different machine gun, same snowshoes, just darker. And that's pretty much the best way to describe the deluxe when compared to the retro. It's a darker color scheme, and that's really about it. But the retro does have a few things that I like better, besides it being a complete callback to my childhood. You already see it, right? They punch some silver in on top of that blue just to make little things stand out. I love me some silver. Holy shit, they even did it on the back. Look at that. This is just pure Robo happiness right here. Something I noticed on the deluxe is they put this gold copperish color around the goggles, which kind of stood out because there's no other color that matches that. On the retro, they left it black. I have nothing against this. In fact, it works for this color scheme, but I'm so glad they went with this for the retro. Same overlays at the legs with the holsters and the straps, and then the same stripes painted on in places, although the deluxe does have this logo on it. The fur collar piece has the same yellowish dirty tint to it, same shading at the wrist fur, and I guess it's the same at the shoulder too. What it's going to come down to is I'm going to put the pelt back on this one, and it's going to be my officer. I've got another deluxe that's stripped down to kind of have a different color scheme, and then I want a couple of these just because. Give me all the Snow Serpents I can get. I'll have one with pistols, I'll have one with machine gun, and then I don't know how I'll armor up the other. Oh wait, I'll go get it. I forgot I had that on the shelf, and I forgot this came with the rocket launcher backpack. I guess that's another difference. Then he's holding a machine gun and that, but I may put that in his hand later. There's so many ways to make these different. Next up, let's take a look at Jinx. Have a sword with a scabbard, have a headband. There's a staff with crazy blades on each end, grip hands to wield those weapons, and then a swappable masked head. And yes, I blanked on Jinx there for a minute. If you've already typed, hey dummy, that's not a headband, that's a blindfold, I figured it out. I eventually get there. But if you wanted to, it could be a headband. But this is more menacing and ninja-like, huh? That's probably due to the fact that Jinx came along later for me, that I wasn't as familiar with her as other G.I. Joe characters. I just wanted Jinx because she looked like a badass, and it adds to my female roster. Double pinless elbows, double pinless knees, and there is some bagginess down there, so it does get in the way from kicking all the way up, but it still does quite a bit of ninja posing. I do notice that the lower knee kicks forward, kind of double jointed style. That's okay because it doesn't look out of place when the leg is straight. There's not a gouge or anything in the front. There is a swivel hidden by that band running right there. That's pretty sweet. Then the belt and the lower shirt piece here is an overlay to get out of the way of, I guess, waist or upper torso, depending on where you're bending her. Very nice wrap sculpt to the forearms and hands. Oh, and the necklace is a separate piece too, which I guess you can take off if you pop the head, but I like the look. It doesn't get in the way. It stays in place, I guess because it's really tight around the neck. You can even push it down to here, and yeah, that looks natural. Nice tampo to this logo up here on front, and then there's the tattoo on the arm. I love that it brings in this pink and purple, or the lavender color, into the color scheme without really jumping out at you. It blends into the rest of the costume, even though there's just reds and blacks and skin tone. Up and down hinge on a fist. She's gonna be holding weapons, so let's swap that out, and that's up and down hinge too. Very tight fit to the sheath on the back. I don't know if it's because the peg is a little bit rubbery or what, but it stays. The lower leg sculpt flaring out right above the ankle does get in the way of foot movement a bit, but I don't know, she can still look pretty badass. Oh, and I haven't even tried the other head. That pops off pretty easy. And that goes right on, no problem whatsoever. I'm not as familiar with this look, so I was gonna say, oh, you can have female ninjas just running around, but this seems very unique to Jinx herself, unless they all get the same tattoo. So in my display, she'll be looking like this with the blindfold. Next, let's take a look at Hawk, who goes back to the windowless packaging with the Foot Locker box things. General Clayton Hawk Abernathy. We have this gun. It's a gun. It's got a strap that's pretty stiff. We have this gun. Yep, there's a pistol and a smaller pistol that kind of looks like, nope, that doesn't come out. Two sets of goggles. One set is to go around the head and one is to go around the helmet. The helmet I haven't showed yet, but it looks pretty cool with just the star there on the front. The strap is bigger on one of the goggles, so you can put it here. And then the smaller one goes down over Hawk's eyes. I love this because it gives you options. As far as the figure goes, I adore the copper color that's used on the jacket. The zippers, this emblem, the intricate paint right here with the grays and the blues and the reds. Tampos on both shoulders, looking nice. Got that buckle painted in. Even the stars on the collar of the undershirt are painted. Abernathy. I really love this head sculpt. It's got some age to it, some wisdom. And I'm not just talking about the gray hair. There's some lines to the face, some wrinkles. And then the camo pants, the knee pads, the boots. I think we've seen this before. The belt and the holster is an overlay that isn't glued down anywhere, but you have the pouches, the holster, another pouch, and another pouch with little clasps that could have been painted. Then there's this holster on the chest with the strap going up and over, and then a strap coming up over this shoulder, and I don't know how much I like that. It's not so much the look, because hey, holster, cool, more weapon storage. It's this strap coming up over the shoulder. It likes to kind of fall down. Out of the package, this was jammed right here, and I don't know if it's supposed to be there. That does help this side to be a bit more secure, but I feel like that needs to be there or under the collar. It's okay. I may take that off. And it's not like that's difficult. You just take the head off, take this, and then just work way down to there, and I kind of like the clean look. You get to see more of the jacket, which is one of my favorite things about this figure, besides the head, that handsome face. That is my second favorite thing. I'm also having trouble with the waist, and it's been a while since I've had to get in there with some shock oil to loosen something up or to keep it moving, and I'm afraid to turn too far because it acts like it's kind of twisting the peg. Another thing I'm having to get used to here is the shoulders. It's kind of an SH figure art setup where it's a ball joint with the peg coming out to the shoulder, so you have some up, down, forward, back, all around, and then it has this loose cover piece in there. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to standard butterfly joints on G.I. Joe, but the more I mess with it, the more I warm up to it. I think? I'm not sure. I don't like that gap on the left arm. But it all boils down to Hawk. Well, okay, that kicked way up. You can have them like broad-shouldered or kind of down a little bit. There's options. Again, like I said, I'm warming up to it still as I'm filming. But Hawk's going to be standing off to the side or behind giving orders. I know he can kick ass, don't get me wrong, but that's where he'll be in my display. Well, okay, not quite. He needs a firearm, and then he needs his helmet. So putting that on is a little loose on the head, but oh man, okay, that completes the look. That's going to be him standing in the back, barking orders. Next, we're jumping back to a newer release with Doc. Before we unfold the stretcher, there is a peg to plug into Doc's back. Does it go that way or does it go this way? Oh, wait. Is this... okay, there are lots of options here. But unfold the stretcher, the legs go down, these sculpted in straps go up. I kept fighting the urge to do it like this because if you put the figure on it like this and have two other figures holding it, it doesn't buckle in the middle, but it does buckle under, well, okay, if you have figures holding it, it does buckle under the weight of a figure on it. There's a first aid kit with a pin on the back, and like I just showed, there's lots of options on Doc's vest. There's a hole, or you can pull other stuff off and put it in its place. Because this one also comes off on the chest, and then there's one on the side, and there's one on the other side, and... am I missing one? I do kind of like the big one being on the back, though. Keeps it out of the way. So, oh no, where were all these positioned? The back of the package shows this configuration, and I like that because this pouch is a little thinner. It doesn't get in the way as much. That also leaves a hole for the holster, which is meant to hold the flare gun. There's also this little pistol, and I don't know if it's actually a pistol or it doesn't look medical either, but that goes down on the holster on the hip. That's strapped to the right thigh. Then on the left thigh is another pouch because you can never carry too much stuff when you're a medic. I absolutely love this helmet just because of the pill bottles on the side. That's just a nice little detail. A little hard to get on there with the chin strap, but okay, there we go. But I do like that the chin strap holds the helmet on there. But then there's Doc's glasses, and man, those are awesome with the green tinted lenses. Little tough to put on there with the helmet on, but oh man, that just completes the look. And that is everything stored away on Doc with nothing in his hands, except this one pouch. There's not a hole left to put it anywhere. So close, but that's okay, because look at that, he is geared up. But I'll probably do it like this. The big one down low, the smaller one up high. That does leave his hands free for carrying the stretcher, so that is everything right there. As far as the figure goes, it's a clean design. It's essentially just a khaki uniform and some black shoes and pouches all over the place. Have this logo on the right shoulder and then medic on the left. But there are little splashes of color to spice things up. The belt is red with a silver buckle, and that does go all the way around to match up with this pouch here on the thigh and then the red watch. Then there's this orange flashlight. Is that what that is? That matches the flare gun. Slightly lighter orange to the pill bottles with the white caps up here. Have the green lenses to the glasses. Then there's this violet pin, or light purple, lavender again. That must be a theme today. Like, it's a standard uniform, but he adds just tiny little things to spruce it up. Now that I have this out and together, I love this. At first glance, it seems pretty plain, but then you open the package and it's almost overly complicated with everything and all the options that you have. You have to make decisions when it comes to the pouches and the layout, and if you want the helmet on or the glasses on under or off. But once you get past that and everything together, it just works. And now I'm imagining it in a display with other G.I. Joes. And it's usually, you know, the wacky ones that stand out, and I say, oh, okay, it's like this, so he can be more individual. But this khaki color and these little punches of color, yeah, that's going to stand out too. Doc is Doc. I got to fiddle a little bit more to get the glasses straight, but... And I should probably take the helmet off in order to do that. But I love the helmet. The helmet's staying on. And we're jumping back to the windowless again with Ripper. Got to open the flavor packet. First up, he likes rescuing people from car wrecks. Although that's looking pretty brutal on the inside. Maybe it's more of a... Oh, yeah, that's right, isn't it? That is for tearing up vehicles and... There's some gears right there. So you move one, the other moves with it. Then this handle swivels back and forth, and the grip is right there with the little trigger on it. Also some silver paint for, I guess, the exhaust and the motor cover. Rifle with a gnarly looking blade. There's a pistol with the same setup. Everything's got to have a blade on it, I guess. So of course there's a knife, you know, a blade, and I like the knuckle guard. Then there's these sunglasses, and this is gonna be the big determining factor as to whether I like this figure or not. Okay, it does hook behind the ears, and it stays on nice and solid. It tries to come off a little bit, but it's not just falling off. Unlike another Dreadnought that I opened up recently. I know this isn't a buzzer review, but these, god dang, glasses will not stay in place. He doesn't have enough ear, or there's not enough hook or something. Okay, I'm gonna nice and gently put it on there, and then he's gonna stand him up, and oh, it actually stayed. But good luck getting him into a pose or messing with them for any length of time without those falling off and getting lost. I'm surprised I still have them. Yeah, I'm talking to you. So Ripper's already 10 times better than Buzzer. Action figure wise, when it comes to actual look, I'm a Buzzer guy, but not with those glasses. You just You son of... This is the way you're going to treat me on camera? There's a simplicity to the figure, even though it's a Dreadnought. Of course. He's got the... Is that Mohawk or Faux Hawk? He's got a beard. He's baring teeth. He's kind of screaming. The sunglasses are cool. He's got the camo tank top, the jeans, the knee pads, the boots, that punk spiked bracelet on the right side. Oh, and spiked armband too. Tattoo of a Muppet on the left bicep, and then some tear marks on the left forearm. And then come around to the right, another tattoo, kind of a Grim Reaper situation. More spikes up on the chest gear, coming down to a couple of grenades that aren't painted, and a knife sheath. Peg sticking out. I bet that is for the trigger guard for this. It's shaped, so you can't just push it on any direction you want to go. It has to be right there for it to go on. Is that right? With the blade up, or should it be the other direction? It does fit that way too, but seems like he's always going to be cutting his left arm. Plus he'll want to display the blade prominently, huh? I missed the chain on the belt. And then the buckle's painted the silver, bringing over here. I forgot to mention that that's silver, that's gold. Those are silver up there. He also has a holster overlay on the right side for the bladed pistol. The knees are so tight that it knocked the gun off his back, but it does get full range. I'm kicking my down under. Yeah, he's got a thinness to him when I expect a thickness. I don't know how to explain that. Also, these keep riding up and then pushing the necklace up. I just caught his razor blade earring too. That matches the razor blades hanging off the chain there. Everything he comes with can be mounted on him at the same time without looking cluttered. I mean, sure, he's got a rifle, he's got a pistol, he's got a knife, some grenades, some punk type things, and then this, but it still seems like it's manageable. And he looks right at home with the rest of the Dreadnoughts, at least the ones that I have right here by the space. But now that I have them all together, doesn't that kind of look like Matt Cardona? Don't think I've forgiven you just because the glasses are staying on now. I know better. We'll see what happens tonight. But let's finish off this play day with Nightcreeper. Oh, I've been waiting for you. First up for hands, there is a right flat palm with a ninja climbing claw thing on the inside, and then a left shuriken holding hand. But I'm going to be keeping the grips in because there are plenty of weapons to dual wield. There's these two knives with hoops on the ends. He can either hold those. Well, I guess it doesn't matter which direction, right? It hurt even more like that. But he also has these knife sheaths at his hips on the belt. There's also two swords that make no sense whatsoever, but still seem deadly as all hell. I mean, imagine slicing across something with this. It's like, it's serrated, is what it is, just super serrated. And then if you stab somebody with this, just imagine pulling it back out. Yeah, they're dead, plain and simple. There's a better look at the grips and the guards. It's gonna be super hard to not use those all the time. Good thing I'm gonna army build these. I need at least one with the crossbow, because that is iconic. As a kid, I thought all 5 would shoot out at the same time. Like, you'd have to have your enemy's position just right for them to shoot out. Like, they're all pointing straight, but in my mind, they went. You'll notice there's only 4 bolts. There's actually 1 loose, and there's a clip right there. It's drawn back, so it makes sense to have this in there all the time. And once you snap it in there, it's in there. But then there's the backpack. There's a bedroll sculpted up top and some climbing rope down bottom. There's a set of clips on each side. There's also a clip above the sculpted in bolts. If you don't have them using this, you can also put this here and it snaps in there. It's not the same size, but it completes the illusion for the most part. Oh, actually, it's pretty close. Those pegs are triangular. There's that right there. I'm gonna guess that, yeah, get it lined up, it mounts on there. Oh, okay, so the swords mount there. I thought they went on these loops underneath the thing. If you don't want to use the backpack, maybe do that. This is so much cleaner. Oh, look at that. Everything he comes with except the alternate hands. Oh, and the alternate head, which I guess is some later version of Nightcreeper, but I don't recognize it. Therefore, get out of here. That's my Nightcreeper. As a kid, I thought a purple ninja was the coolest thing ever. As an adult, I still think that. I have purple on the headband and the hood, the arms, and then the shin guards. Also, it's worked into the camouflage of the pants, which is downright beautiful. And then the gray on the forearms doesn't include that purple because it's surrounded by purple. I like that. There's black for all the straps and the belts hanging down here, coming to this, and straight across the back, up here on the chest gear, coming around to the silver. I love how that pops out of the color scheme because there's also the buckle, the goggles, and then his skull protection. And then finally, everything else is a burgundy color. The shoulder pads, the undershirt, the gloves, the boots. Listing all those colors, you think, well, none of that goes together. Ba-bam! Proven wrong! Look at that! I also love that there's a litheness to the physique, the silhouette. It's thin in places, but still bulky. The shoulders sticking out because of these shoulder pads, and then the armored up lower legs kind of balance things out. Not a facial feature to be seen. It's so mysterious. I mentioned the shoulder pads. Those are the tried and true ring around the shoulder pegs where you can rotate the arm and it travels with it, but then it flexes up out of the way for any movement you may want. I knocked the knife out of the sheath. Oh, you know what makes me think thin besides the size of the torso here? There's no bracers. There's no guards. There's nothing at the forearms. So they're just kind of hanging in space. But I love that they kind of brought it into the whole design scheme by putting that camo there. I know I already mentioned that, but I'm going to do it again because that's how much I like it. This hanging down underneath does get in the way of neck movement, especially looking down and looking up. Otherwise, everything is pretty much what you expect with G.I. Joe, which I haven't been running through articulation because it's fairly basic at this point, but there's still the drop down, there's still the double knee. I kick my own ass. And it has absolutely no problem starting a ruckus if he needs to. Oh, man. It's so good. I was setting up everybody for the final shot and I just realized how small Nightcreeper actually is. Ripper may not be thick, but he's taller, and then the Snow Serpent is just jacked. As he should be. That just adds to Nightcreeper's litheness, I guess. He's sneaky, he's creepy. In the night. I get it now. So at the end of the day, just another good group of G.I. Joe Classified Series figures to add to my... I don't have a display. I have a box that's waiting for a display. G.I. Joe isn't my top priority. You know the deal. It's Star Wars and or Marvel Legends. Those kind of flip-flop daily, depending on my mood. And then everything else I just kind of pick and choose. Well, I say that. I pick and choose Star Wars and Marvel too. I don't buy everything from anything. In fact, I got into the habit of not buying any G.I. Joe. But then, what was it I reviewed recently that was like, holy shit, I need more G.I. Joe? Oh, yeah. It was Naugahyde. He brought me back in. I'm going to get the figures that look interesting to me and the ones that are really near and dear. They twang on that nostalgia string. That would be these two. Don't make me pick which one I like better because they're both awesome. But I'm also super happy I got Jinx and Doc because... And You know what? I'm super happy I got Hawk too. Adding to the display, he has his place, but I just like these two better. And then can you ever go wrong with Dreadnoks? I mean, come on. Like I always say, good figures are good figures. So these are good figures. They'll go with the rest, and then they'll all go somewhere once I find a place. If you're interested in any of these that you saw today, the link to Big Bad Toy Store is in the description. Go ahead and click that. Head on over, buy what you want, enjoy.